Empathy is something the world is in great need of. And how do we become empathetic? Is it something that is taught? Are we born with it? Why are there people without it? There are millions of answers to those questions. Maybe not that many. My parents raised my sister and me to empathize with others. From an early age, Ernesto and I were taught to imagine what it would be like in someone else's shoes before we judged someone else. Ernesto and I both took the lessons to heart, and as a result, we ended up with a broader base of friends. Before we continue, please like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I upload the next video. My friends Alex and Tay and I were on the bus to school. A new kid had just gotten on, and everyone stopped talking. I was just looking to see who was getting on the bus. He kept his eyes down as he looked for an empty seat. Alex and I watched as nobody moved their book bags to make room. When he approached us, Alex moved her bag so that he could sit down. The boy smiled and then took out a book and began to read. In school, the new boy was introduced as Minjun Iyun. He smiled and the teacher slowly pronounced the name Minjun Iyun. He smiled and said hello with a very strong accent, and then quickly sat down. Naturally, Alex was intrigued. Perhaps it was because she loved hearing people with accents speak. Perhaps it was the future journalist in her. But Alex was determined to make friends with this boy. I was happy to be friends with him, but Alex was particularly motivated. We invited Minjun Iyun to sit with us. He thanked us and accepted, saying that we could call him Charlie. I thought that was odd to have such a different nickname. Throughout the day, Minjun Iyun, or Charlie, spoke little, but seemed friendly enough. I wondered why he wasn't very talkative. Alex asked many questions, and Minjun Iyun, Charlie, asked in brief responses. He and his family moved from a place in Korea called Bosong. That was the tea-growing capital of Korea. One thing I noticed as the day went on was that Blake, Ted, and their friends giggled every time Minjun Iyun spoke, which was not often, and mimicked his accent. Actually, this was accompanied by using their fingers to make their eyes appear squinty. I ignored them, as I had learned to do in the past. One of them said something to the effect of, "Don't eat my dog," which was followed by more laughter. I looked at Minjun Iyun, Charlie, to see his response. He just continued to do his schoolwork. I was impressed with his concentration, but thought that he should say something because otherwise Blake, Ted, and the bullies would just keep on pestering him. I knew that from personal experience. On the way home, Blake and Ted sat in the back of the bus, laughing and mocking Minjun Iyun, Charlie. Now I wanted him to make them stop. I was feeling frustrated that this new boy from Korea didn't have a clever comeback. I wondered why he didn't. He spoke and understood English, so I was sure that he knew what they were saying. This continued to upset me and annoy me a little. I was upset because I couldn't imagine how Minjun Iyun must feel to have someone make fun of him nearly all day in a new school and frustrated. After all, I wanted my new friend to stand up for himself. At the dinner table, my parents asked how my day had been. I told them about my new friend from Korea and Blake and Ted's bully brigade. "That is horrible of these boys," Dad said. "It is cruel and disrespectful." "But he doesn't stand up for himself," I said. "I don't get it." "You said he's from Korea," Mom said, "and that he has a strong accent." "But he speaks English," I argued. "I'm sure he understands what they are saying." "Yes," Mom said thoughtfully, "but maybe he is self-conscious." "What do you mean?" I asked. "You said that he doesn't talk much, only when you ask him a question or invite him to join you," Mom continued. "Yes, but he knows all the words to say." I continued to argue my frustrations. "Just because you know what to say doesn't make you comfortable saying it," Dad explained. "Maybe he is aware of his accent, and that makes him shy to speak up." That night, I thought about what my parents had said. I imagined myself in a foreign country, not a familiar one like Costa Rica where my dad grew up, one that was different from anything that I knew, a country with a completely different language and customs. I imagined how that might feel. I wondered if people would understand my accent and if they would be kind or cruel as I attempted to navigate life in a different place. I decided to talk to Minjun Iyun, Charlie. I also hoped to find out the story on his odd nickname. The next day on the bus, Blake and Ted were at it again. Minjun Iyun, Charlie, again ignored them. Alex glared at them, which did nothing other than to express her disdain for their behavior. I decided to initiate a conversation. "How did you get your nickname?" I asked. "Nickname?" "Charlie," I clarified. "Was that your grandfather or something?" "No," he explained.
My parents worried our names would be hard for people here to pronounce, so we chose more American-sounding names to use in the community.
What do your parents call you at home? Alex asked.
Min,
Min said. Then we are going to call you that, I said, because that is your name.
Thanks.
Min smiled.
That would be great, because sometimes I forget who Charlie is.
Can I ask you a question? I asked.
Sure,
Min said. You speak English well, I said. Why don't you stick up for yourself? I pointed toward the back of the bus where Blake and Ted were.
Well, I can speak English,
Min explained.
I can't argue in English. What if I forget what to say? I know that sometimes people can't understand me because this is my second language.
Then we will help you, Alex said, because nobody should be treated that way. We became good friends with Min. He was a nice kid, and over time, he taught us a lot about his part of Korea and the culture and customs that were a part of his family's life. His family even had my family and Alex's family over for dinner. I thought it was like visiting a restaurant because the food was so different from what I had. It was delicious. I learned a lot about Min and where he came from, but also about myself and life in general. My parents had taught me how to imagine myself in other people's shoes. Thanks to that, I was able to empathize with Min's situation in a real way. I was able to imagine what it might feel like to be in Min's situation, and I was also able to figure out how to make Min feel more comfortable in his new world. Empathy is an important quality that anyone can all have. Just like any other trait, empathy must be nurtured and encouraged. When we empathize with others, we are better able to understand their experiences and motivations, as well as taking actions to help make their lives better, and which makes our lives better. I often wonder what our world would be like if people were more empathetic. I think it would be better because instead of attacking the differences that make us who we are, we might appreciate the things that make us similar as well. I hope you liked the video. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you. Hey, thank you for watching. Please click on the right to subscribe if you liked the video. And please don't forget to click on the bell icon when you subscribe so that you can be notified when we upload a new video. Watch more videos on the left, including our playlist. Thank you.